my name is Amy Martin, and I'm actually the T3 Implementation Manager here at Medcom. And so this is what your site looks like, and you're going to access it at medcomrn.com/hdg. And then once you arrive at the site, you or your users can go ahead and log in with your user information and password on the left here. Currently, all users are set up with, since we were passed over the user ID from Medline, we set up their login as with both their user ID and password as their Medline user ID. So that's what they'll use to log in, is the same user ID as both their ID and password in our system. And all administrators are currently set up with your first name and last name all together with no spaces as your user ID, and HDG admin all together, all lowercase, as your password. So you'll just want to enter that here and sign in. And you'll notice when you first log in, the first thing you're going to see is assigned courses. So this is going to display anything that has been assigned to you or your staff, and when they log in, they're going to see what you've assigned to them, along with a due date over here that it was assigned for them to take it by. And so basically all the users are going to see the same, everyone's going to see the same thing, with the exception of you as administrators have this additional T3 admin menu, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But your users are going to have these options on the left here. And like I mentioned, we set their user ID and password already, but they can change their password by clicking this link here to enter their old password and just set up a new password. And again, so they will see their assigned courses as soon as they log in, but they do have access to this course categories, which it'll take a second here. My computer's running a little slow while I'm running GoToMeeting, and it's a long list of courses, so it takes a minute just to pull up the course list. But they'll have access to take anything that they want beyond what's assigned to them. So they will see this long list of categories. You have a lot of courses here, and so you just click on a category and that will just show you the courses that are in that category that are available. Anything with video in it is going to show up in the videos category. So if you're looking for video, that's where you'll find it. And also what's nice about having these categories here for you as administrators is you're able to go in and take a look at all the courses, review them, in order to decide what you want to assign to your staff. So it's real simple. All you need to do to start a course is just click on the title, and it's going to go ahead and open. And I know you're probably familiar. You've seen a lot of our courses before, but you can go through using these next and previous buttons at the bottom, or you can also use the menu on the left here to skip ahead. And then you're also going to have that post test and just multiple choice scored automatically. As soon as they pass, they're going to get their certificate. If it's a CE course, there's an evaluation that has to be completed before they can receive their certificate. And once they do pass, it will then show up in their completed courses. So they will click here on completed courses, and that's just going to show, and this is a My Course, which I'll talk about in a second, but it will show the course, the title, the date that they completed it, along with a link for them to print or save their certificate. And then going to move on here, and actually, since this is showing up here, My Course, what My Courses is this is My CE Courses. And what this feature is this actually just allows your users to add external courses that they may have completed outside of Medcom that they want to create a record for in T3. So this could be any kind of certification or class. And so, for example, you'll see here there's a CPR one that I just put in there really quick, and all that they'll need to do if they want to add something that they want you to see a record for, something they took outside of Medcom, they can just click Add Course. They can enter the date they completed it and any information about that course. If it had CE, they can enter that here and click Save. And this will just allow you as an administrator to see what they've completed. You can run a report that'll show My CE courses if you want to include those. If you don't want to include them, the reports will just include the Medcom courses. Okay, and then we went ahead, we already talked about the change password link here. I'm just gonna go back. And so you'll notice it created the record. I hadn't filled out the information, but I'm just gonna delete it out. Okay, and so as I mentioned, as administrators, you have this extra link here for T3 admin menu. So I'm going to go ahead and click this here, and you're going to get a list of several options Every administrator function is going to be accessed through this menu. So I'm just going to kind of start at the top and work down and kind of explain what these are and what you have access to. So starting with administer the user list. If you need to create a new user account for one of your users, you can do that here on number 2, create a new user record. So you can just enter the user ID, click add, and that's going to bring you to a profile editor page where you can enter in the rest of the information and set them up so that they have access to the system and then they can start logging in on the site. And then next to the first option, edit a user record, you're going to see this view list. And this will allow you to view a list of all of the active users that are set up in your facility. And you'll actually also see add user from unassigned list and another view list. This is going to be any terminated users. So if you terminated an account for someone that's no longer working there, and then for any reason you wanted to pull them back up and reactivate them, or if they were terminated by mistake, you can view the list of inactive users and reactivate accounts from this list. But for now, I'm going to show you the active list of users. So if we click view list here, you're going to see actually under cost center that there's each facility or each community is set up here, and in most cases you're only going to have access to just one or two. If it's just one facility you have access to, you won't see all of the options show up here. And if you do have what we call company-wide access, you would have access to all the facilities like you see here. So company-wide will run or will show all of the users, whereas you can limit to just one facility and just see those users. But for now, I will stick with company-wide, and I'm just going to show you. So you'll notice there's some links next to each user's name. You can search for someone here. First name, last name, user ID, any way you want to pull them up, you can just enter them, search, and you'll find them. So you'll see you've got a profile link. So if you needed to edit anything on the profile, change their name, edit their information, add in information, and you will see there is this option. There are 5 job codes. So if you notice someone is missing a job code, and we'll talk more about this in a little bit because you'll be able to assign by job code, you can add or change their job code for that user here if you need to. You can also obviously change any other information, transfer them if they were in the wrong facility. You can move them to a different facility or terminate their account if they're no longer working there. And after you make any changes, you can just click save. And I'm just going to go back here. And then you're also going to see the ed record link. And basically what this is this is going to be exactly what the user would see under their completed courses. So if Sadie was to click on completed courses, she would see these courses here along with a link to print or save her certificate. It's important to mention here that you'll notice there are a couple that do not show the print save certificate link. And the reason for that is from the administrator side, you're not able to print or save a certificate off if the user has not actually pulled up and viewed the certificate themselves. So they have to actually complete the last steps, which in some cases are the evaluation. So they have to actually get all the way through to see their certificate before you can access the certificate on the administrator side. But you'll notice if you click print save, it will pull up a copy of her certificate. So if you needed to print it off, you can do that here. Back here. And then you're also going to see this curriculum link next to their name. And actually, you know what? I'm going to pull this demo account here up for you so I can actually assign some courses to myself. But what curriculum is going to give you access to is to assign courses. So this is going to show anything that's assigned to that person. So you'll notice I have a couple of assigned courses here. So this is what I see when I click on assign courses. But you can go ahead and add courses to an individual user one at a time. I know in most cases you're going to be assigning to your whole facility or large groups at once or by job code, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But you have a couple options here. You can add individual courses. You can set the due date at the top, and you can go through and select courses from the list that you want to add. It's all alphabetical by title. But you'll notice there's a lot of pages. It's a lot of courses, so it can take time for you to sort through and find what you want to assign this way. So I will talk about another way to do this and create groups or curricula that you can assign as well. But if I picked a couple here, I'm just going to pick a couple random ones. And if I click add, it's going to go ahead and assign those to me. So you'll see all these extra ones popped up here. And I can remove those if I realized I made a mistake. You can delete ones off. And then if that's set, you know, I can go, if I click on my course, sorry, my assigned courses, I should now see those courses show up here. I go back here and pull this account up again. And if I go back and click on my curriculum link, aside from adding individual courses, you'll see as this option to assign existing curriculum. And so there's none set up at this time, but what this will do is this will allow you to have a set you know, list of existing curricula that you can assign anytime, whether that's like an orientation or a new hire curriculum, or one for a group of courses that you want to assign to all your RNs or all your CNAs. So you have those groups of courses already ready and set that you can just go in and pick here and assign. And so I'm going to actually go ahead and I will show you how to do that. If we go back to the T3 admin menu, you're going to see this option for create edit curricula show up here. And you'll see there's an existing one set up, but it's probably not set to available. But I think this is probably for boundary waters. And this is something that's important. You always do want to put the name of your facility in front of whatever you're calling that curriculum. So just so that you can, you know which one's which. So if there was one new hire, you wouldn't know if that was for which community. So always good to do that. So that's the way you want to do it, just to keep everything organized. And so if you wanted to create a new curriculum here, and I'll just go ahead and call this just new, and click add. And again, if you leave it set admin access to not available, it's not going to show up in the list of curricula to assign. So you'll leave it probably to not available until it's ready. You have those courses all in here that you're ready to go ahead and assign it. And you've got a couple different ways to add courses. You can view a list of courses to add here from the list. And you just click a category and you can select the courses you want. And then it's going to bring me right back to that list of categories. So you can kind of browse through all the categories, select courses this way. Or you can just search by keyword. So if you were looking for a HIPAA course, for example, you can type HIPAA and it's going to pull up any course on HIPAA. And then you can select that way. And then just click add. And so now you'll notice I've got those 4 courses here in this curriculum. And if I was happy with those and I was ready to start assigning, I can go ahead and make admin access available. And then I can just hit change. Anytime you make a change or add or delete courses out, you're always going to want to go ahead and hit change. And so now that that's ready, you should see, if I go back to the admin menu and back to administer the user list and view that list of users, and if I pull that account up one more time, and if I click on curriculum again, you will now see when I click assign existing curriculum that this new curriculum shows up here on the list. So I could just click that and set the due date, and it's going to assign that group of courses. So you'll see those pop up here with the due date of 3/31. And so now they will now be in my assigned courses. And so, like I mentioned, I know you're not going to be assigning to one person at a time most of the time. So there is another option here to assign to everyone, you know, facility-wide or by job code. So just to all RNs in your facility or all CNAs in your facility. So if you actually from administer the users, you can come down to this last option, add courses to all users in a cost center. And you'll see here again the list of cost centers, which are all the communities. You may or most likely only have access to just your community. And so you can assign to everyone. And that's going to take you back to the same page here, and you can just go through those steps again, assign existing curriculum or individual courses. And that would assign to everyone in your facility. Or you can change and select a job code. So if you want to only assign to the CNAs in your facility, like I mentioned, you can go ahead and do that. And then it brings you back here to this list, and that will assign to everyone that is set, has CNA set as their job code in their profile in your facility. So that's why you want to make sure that all the users have accurate information in their profile so that they are set with the correct job code so that they're going to get the correct assignment. And one thing we're going to be doing is sending out user lists to everyone that shows, the job codes and all the users that are set up in the system, as we did receive all the accounts over from Medline, so we just want to make sure there weren't any that were missed. So we'll want to have you verify those user lists and make sure all the information is correct. And then if you need any changes made, you can certainly return that to us and we can make those changes for you, or you're able to actually go in here with your admin account and make those changes in the user's profile as well. So if you notice something's missing, you can pull up the user's profile and make that change. And now I'm going to go back to the T3 admin menu again. And actually, one more thing I want to show you on the creating and edit curricula. You can make a copy of a curricula if you're going to make something similar and you just want to make a couple changes, delete out a couple courses, you can do that. If you click edit, it's going to bring you right back in to make the changes. And you can return here. And of course, you can delete any curricula that are set up that you no longer need. And so I'm going to go ahead and delete this one out. And now I want to move on to reports. So you'll see this option here, get reports. I'm going to go ahead and click that. And we've got a long list of different reports. I do recommend you spend some time kind of going through, looking at them and seeing which ones are going to work best for you or give you the information that you're looking for. But I'm going to kind of go through some of the most popular reports and kind of show you how to do certain things that you might be interested in doing, or reports you might be interested in running. Our most detailed report is going to be our user detail report here. So go ahead and click this. And again, you've got the option to limit the facility. You may only, or most likely only see your facility here. You can also limit the user ID. So if you only wanted to run the report on one individual at a time, you could enter their user ID or their last name here, or first name. It's going to pull up just users with that ID or that last name. But if you leave it blank, it's going to run on everyone in your facility. And then you can enter the date range you're interested in. So if you want to see what was completed in the last month or the last year, you can do that. The status is going to default to passed, because I know in most cases you're going to be interested in seeing what was completed. But you may also be interested in seeing what's not been completed or what has been failed. Not passed is going to include all the records that were either failed, so where the post-test was taken, they scored less than 80%, or not attempted is going to be for those courses that are assigned to them, but they haven't taken yet. They haven't attempted the post-test yet. So if you were interested in kind of seeing what was pending for your users, so what if you had made an assignment for this month and you want to, it's near the end of the month and you want to see, who hasn't taken their assignment yet, you can do that. You can also check this box here to limit the report to only assigned courses. So if you aren't interested in what they took, from the course categories link beyond what's assigned to them, you can check this box to see only those assigned records. And then I'll talk about multi-page in a second here. I'm going to run the report. Let me uncheck this, and I'll leave it at passed and just kind of run this right now. And it's going to open up in another page, and it's going to, because this is the user detail report, it's going to break it down by user alphabetically by last name, and all the records, all the courses they've completed with the date they completed it, the score, and the status. If it was an assigned course, you're going to see the due date show up in this column here. And the multi-page setting, when it's set to yes, it's going to put it on multiple pages here. So you'll notice I have to click through each page to see all the records. So one thing you might want to do, especially if you're going to be printing off this report or you want to kind of copy and paste it into Excel or into a document, you can change multi-page to no. And I'm also going to change the subtotal so you can see what that does as well. And then if I run that same report, you'll notice it's all on one single page now. So I recommend, or I find it easier to change multi-page to no. And then when you set the subtotal to yes, you're going to see the number of courses show up, subtotal at the bottom for each user. I'm going to go back to the reports menu now. You'll also have a course detail report that you'll probably use often. Again, same option with the facilities, the cost centers. Only this time with this box here, instead of entering a username, you can limit this to just one course. So if you wanted to see, who took bloodborne pathogens last month, you can go into the course categories again, and I apologize, it's going to take a minute here to load. As my connection is slow with running the GoToMeeting. Okay, so if it was, and actually I should mention you also have this search bar at the top. So let's see, bloodborne pathogen safety. So if I was interested in finding out who took this course in the last month, I'm going to just copy this course code here. There's a course code associated with every course. And then I'm going to go back to the admin menu, back to my reports, and back to the course detail report. And I can enter that course code right here. And I can run the report, and let's just see company-wide if anyone took it. And I can set that so if it was last month or last year, and I'm going to set this back just a little bit here. So I can run that and see if anyone took that. No, there's no records for that course, but anyway, that's what you would do is you'd put the course code in here. It's going to show you just that course. And if you leave it blank, it's going to run on all courses again. So let's change this. Just trying to limit it so it doesn't give a huge report with so many records because it'll take a while to run that. Obviously, the bigger the date range and the more users, the longer it's going to take to run a report. So, and again, you're going to see the same options with the status: passed, not passed, failed, not attempted, and multi-page and subtotal. And you can also change how it's sorted here as well. And so you'll see, because this is the course detail report, it's going to break it down by course and list the users that took that course underneath with, again, date taken, score, due date if it was assigned. And then multi-page, same thing here. And I'm going to go back to the reports menu. You're also going to have, if you're just kind of looking to see overall popularity or which courses are launched or taken most frequently, there's this course launch statistics report. So you can open that, and you can also download this report in a CSV file. But if you're just looking to see, what the most popular reports are, or I'm sorry, most popular courses are, you can just run this, and it'll kind of just give you how many times each course has been taken or viewed. And let me go back here. And you're also you'll notice while you have the user detail and the course detail, you'll also have a user summary report and a course summary report. So I'll kind of just show you those real quick. And so you'll just kind of see it's a summary of what each user has completed for this user summary. And the same thing for the course summary report. Okay, we don't have any records for, let's try this. There we go. And so that's what the course summary is going to look like. And the last thing I want to mention on the reports menu is all the way at the bottom down here, you're going to have a download data option. So if you want to download the raw data, like all the user data, all the test data, or all the certificates for any reason, you can do that here. So if you wanted to get a user list yourself, you're able to actually pull this and get a spreadsheet. So you'll get a CSV file that you can then save in Excel and sort out if you need to for any reason, or all the test records as well. So that's here and available to you if you need it. And then you'll notice there are a couple extra options here on the admin menu. And I want to mention that you may or may not have access to each of these items on the menu depending on your level of access, which is going to be determined by Jamie Schwingle, Erica Hyde, and Ann Robinson, as they're working with us on implementation and overseeing this T3 site for all HDG communities. So, I want to point out the last two items really quick, but I'm not really going to cover and go into detail on them today because I don't believe you're going to have, or many of you will have access to all of these. And I'm going to start just by talking about the job codes really quick. As I mentioned, you have those 5 job codes that are set. I'll just show you that here. You've got these job codes, and those are the 5 designated job codes, and this list isn't to be edited or added to at any time without approval, again, from Jamie, Erica, and Ann. They're the ones running this, and this is what we've decided to keep it consistent with every community, so you're using the same set of job codes because you share these job codes. And then you're also going to see Course Builder here, which is actually an enhanced feature that, like I mentioned, many of you may not have access to or have a need for, but it actually allows you to build your own custom courses and tests with your own content, put your own policies and things into a course. And there's actually going to be a video tutorial separate on Course Builder that will be distributed later, just so that it can be given to those administrators who will be handling this or using this feature, but I didn't want to go into the detail and cover it all today since I know a lot of people won't be using it, but I just want to let you know that's what it is. And so that's where I'm going to stop today and kind of stop for questions. One quick thing I also want to point out is we do have this contact technical support link down at the bottom here. So if at any time you need to contact technical support, any of your users or administrators, you can get in touch with us here. Actually in emails, we're usually checking late into the evening and early in the morning as well. So you can get in touch with us here, and feel free to contact me as well anytime, as I'm here to help with questions. Thank you all for taking the time to do this today, and I hope you all have a great day.